Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. The Blue Moon Capital Investments initial presentation and networking event. We're going to discuss a little bit about ourselves and then continue on to talk all things multifamily. A little bit about myself. My name is Blair Darling, one of the co-founders with these two gentlemen here. Max Darling is Abdul Sisi.
He's the founder. We're just managing partners. Blair owns everything.
That's all right. Appreciate it. First of all, I am the lucky husband of 26 years to my beautiful wife back here, the most supportive partner anyone could ever have. She helped put on this event. Thank you, Phyllis. In addition, I'm also a proud father of two amazing, passionate, driven young adults. And Grace, over here, my daughter, she's responsible for this beautiful decor that we have, the blue and the white and all the glitter and the little stars on the table. And then Max is my other child, son, adult. He's my partner. So a little bit about me and my process of getting here. I am presently working at Michigan State University's Veterinary Medical Center, which is the vet school. And I am a laborer. I shovel out horse stalls. I throw bales of hay. I round up horses in a pasture, and I maintain and service a hydro manure system. That's what I do. I'm not afraid of hard work. I like my job, but I've been doing it for 30 years now, and a little bit of complacency has been set in, to be honest, in the past couple of years. And I felt I had a little bit more to offer, and I wanted to do something maybe a little bit more consequential and rewarding. So at the same time I had these feelings, Max is in my ear, talking about asset income and passive income and leveraging money to make money. And these are foreign words to me, foreign concepts to me. And he suggested reading a book. Has anyone heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? It's a great book. In fact, I suggested it for my daughter to read after I read it. Well, it changed my whole perspective on wealth, generating wealth, and sustaining wealth. And frankly, it was eye-opening to not have the knowledge of financial literacy that I need to have, that I want to have. So I decided to get on a quest and a hunt to educate myself and to find a way to transition from this job I've been doing for 30 years into something else. I'm 54 years old, but I got a lot of juice left in the tank, and I want to do something more. I want to retire and continue on into something. And that hunt to find something was basically stopped when us three discovered the multifamily real estate syndication model. We'll go over what that means. So subsequently, the three of us decided to jump in with both feet, invest in ourselves, and create Blue Moon Capital Investments. And I just couldn't be more proud and honored to be partnering with Abdul and Max in this venture. And so I'm just going to let one of those guys come on up and explain their story a little bit.
Hello everybody, thank you all for coming, I really appreciate it. My name is Max Darling, son of Blair and Phyllis, and my amazing sister Grace. I am a student athlete here at Grand Valley State University. I specialize in short sprints as a member of the track and field team, so I do a lot of fast running and all that stuff. I consider myself to have an entrepreneurial mindset as I've been through various business platforms. I've tried out a return on investment agency, which is where I took Facebook ad leads and turned them into contractor jobs. I've also gotten into digital real estate where I created my own website and attracted leads through generic search engine optimization strategies, which is a whole other conversation if you don't know what that is, because that's in depth. But all this and the experience I've gained and the knowledge I've gained from going through this has led me to multifamily real estate, and that I really believe in the win-win business strategy of, improving the lives of others relates to the most personal success possible. And it doesn't come any better than with multifamily real estate. We can always satisfy our investors, but also in the areas that we operate in, we aim to create a cleaner, safer, and better living area for the whole surrounding population. And there's no better place to do that than my home state of Michigan. So that's why we're here, and we want to change the world.
All right, let's give Blair and Max a round of applause. First of all, Blair is inspiration. Like 30 years he was doing the same thing, and then me and Max were like, dude, like this is the coolest thing ever. We can really change our lives. We can change your family's lives. We can change all of our family's lives. And it was like that. Like let's do this. Like he really jumping in with both feet, and he's just been learning as much as he can. And through that process, we have like a group chat. He's always talking, hey guys, I learned about this. What do you guys? Oh, Blair, like, you're inspiring, man. And so like having your teammates inspire you, like there's nothing better for you as a team member. So
Thank you. I appreciate
yeah. And Max is extremely humble. Like he hates bragging about himself, but he's super fast. He passed it, man. I'm sorry, but they know what I'm saying. But a little bit about me. My name is Abdul Sisi. I primarily do investor relations for Blooming Capital Investments. So many of you guys, you're here because I was talking to you guys and I was messaging you. So thank you all for showing up. I am getting my master's in higher education, and I have an emphasis in student affairs, which essentially my main job is to make college easier for students who don't have access. And I work with 18 first-generation college students, first generation, meaning they're the first in their family to go to college, and I support these students with whatever they need, right? If they don't know how to sign up for classes, they don't know how to email their professor, they don't know how to make sure they have housing for the next year, right? Or even simple things like getting their haircut, right? Ronnie right here is my barber. He knows I'll be bringing my students there like, Ronnie, they need help, man. And if need be, they have court appointments and things like that, right? So I'm just supporting my students as much as I possibly can, making sure that they can just get through college and change their family's lives as well. A bit about like my business background. A lot of the things I know about just talking to people in investor relations primarily comes from my job at an online coaching agency that I did during my undergrad years. And pretty much the business model was, we focus on organic traffic, right? We don't do any type of paid ads or anything. So we essentially just need people to know about us, and they need to understand our story, and they need to want to reach out to us, or we reach out to them, right? So I was doing a bunch of copywriting, and I was writing all these different posts, and I was essentially building an audience for this online coach who helped psychologists, hypnotherapists, yoga teachers during COVID transition their in-person business online. So I was just constantly building relationships with people every single day, and so this is what kind of made it easier for me to transition into this role, because my skill set applies wonderfully to Blooming Capital Investments. It's a little bit about me, but keep going. These are the objectives, right? We just talk a little bit about us. We're going to cover our values. We go over the objectives. You're going to understand a little bit more about the syndication model and what that really is. Our strategy. We talk about the benefits of owning real estate. Dive into a little bit about the Grand Rapids market, and then we're going to give you guys some ways to get involved with our team.
Beautiful. So I wanted to be the one to speak to these values here. Integrity. And for me, this is encapsulated by a little story, keep it short, about my father. My father is the hardest working man I know. He's 83 years old. He's still mowing people's yards. He's still plowing people's driveways. He's running around with his truck and trailer, moving things for people. And when I was young, he borrowed a lawnmower from a neighbor, Mr. Osborne. And when we got done using this lawnmower, he told me, I need you to get the hose, get the bucket of water out, scrub that thing, make it look brand new. I said, what are you talking about? It was trash when we got it. But he explained to me that when we borrow something, we the darlings, we return them in better condition than we received it. And for me, this is a gesture of good faith. It's a reciprocation of goodwill. And my father had it. He instilled it in me as a young child. I believe Phyllis and I have instilled it in Max and Grace. And from what I know of Abdul and his family, they have the same moral code. So at Blue Moon Capital Investments, we're going to strive to have integrity, but I also think it's going to come natural because our families have already instilled it in us at a young age. Excellence. Has anyone heard of the 6 Ps? 6 Ps, anybody? Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. We've talked about this as being a philosophy of ours, a bedrock of ours. We just are prepared, and we're going to destroy unpreparedness through education, knowledge, and sheer effort. And if we can do that, we're going to exude the excellence that's required. Community. There's 2 parts to this. One is we realize that this business can't be done alone. No one can know everything. You can't do it by yourself. It requires genuine connections with people that last. And we intend to form the syndication in a way that it's a kind of a family feel to it. We need to be connected to our teamwork, to our team and our syndication, all the people involved. Secondly, community, when we improve the living situations for tenants, I believe it improves their lives. When your home situation is good, that's one less thing you need to worry about in life. When we buy these assets, we're going to improve the exteriors of the buildings. And by improving the exterior and the look, you're improving the neighborhood. When you improve the neighborhood, you improve the city. You improve the city, you improve the state. Now, this business we can invest anywhere in the country. But for us, we want to invest our efforts into this state, into this city, into our own hometowns. Transparency. It's an important word that I don't want to take lightly. We vow not to put out misinformation. We vow we won't pretend to be something that we're not. So honesty, being forthright, and trustworthiness with our investors, our tenants, our team, and probably most importantly with each other. It'll provide the bedrock for our continuing reputation and success here at Blue Moon Capital Investments. That's what I got about values. Who's up next?
So, yeah, values are huge. Just to be successful in any realm of life, you got to have that core, to bring everyone together and to set everyone on the right path. But now you know that who we are and our values. The reason why Blue Moon Capital Investments exists is quite simple. We want to invest in the future of our state, build wealth with those we do business with, create thriving communities, and leave a lasting legacy of financial security for generations to come, which is not only for our kids, but also obviously for generations to come. So we are set up as a syndication model. Some of you may or may not know what that is, but in very simple terms, that is when we pool investors' money together into a single investment. And the profit of the syndication is split into 2 groups. The first group is the limited partners, or the LPs. This is around 70%, and the rough percentage is based on how the deal contract is written out. But for this sake, we'll say 70%. And these are the investors who passively invest into the deal. The other group are the general partners. They are around 30%, and they basically are the active team members that make everything happen in the deal. And to go a little bit further into the general partners, they source the deal, create the business plan, manage the asset, as well as update the investors on the asset performance, whereas the LP essentially gets to kick their feet up and receive the quarterly distributions. So our strategy is, it consists of 5 main parts. The first is sourcing the deal. And the biggest part about this is to make sure that the area with which the property is in has great potential for growth. So that's very important. That's step 1. Second is acquiring the property, which is finalizing the purchase sales agreement, insuring the property itself, and securing the bank loan to be able to purchase the property in a legal way. Third is the value add. This is probably the most important part. The value add strategies is when we execute renovations, as well as amenity adds that improve the overall quality of living for the asset itself, which in turn raises the equity of the property, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. And fourth is the hold. And a hold for us is typically around 3 to 7 years. And during this time, we continue to underwrite the property as the market conditions change. Obviously, because 3 to 7 years is a long time and a lot of things can happen, especially with an election coming up. And lastly is the exit, which is where we sell the property and we receive the equity gain, and then the profit is distributed between the limited partners and general partners with their respective percentages.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the benefits of owning real estate. Now there are 5 main benefits, and I'm going to dive into each one of these specifically. But we have appreciation, tax deductions, cash flow, leverage, and equity assets. So let's start with appreciation. All right. And I know it's not like I appreciate you. It's more like a real estate member. All right. Anyway, so appreciation is essentially like the value of this property is increased. Okay. And oftentimes you'll hear something along the lines of, "Hey, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait, because you almost always can guarantee that this property is going to increase in value. You're going to make money from it, right?" But there's 2 main factors that essentially dictate the economic market of real estate. And that's population growth and job growth, right? So if we're looking at a market and we're seeing, hey, is this something or somewhere that we want to invest in? What's the population growth? Are there more people coming here? And are the jobs in this area increasing? If the people are, let's say all the people are leaving this area, why would you want to invest? Why would you want to buy real estate? Doesn't make sense. Now, specifically for rental, for multifamily, which is the rental housing, you want to also look at that, and there's a national housing shortage. But the beautiful thing we can do as a syndication that focuses on value add strategy, right? And Max covered it a little bit. We can force the appreciation, right? So unrelated to the market forces, if you buy an apartment complex, right, and you renovate all the units, and now all the units look new, right? And you add, let's say, a gym, you add a pool, you add whatever you want, right? And that's unrelated to the market forces. You just increase the equity of this place without anything happening to the market, right? So now this place is worth more because of the changes you made to it. Now, every once in a blue moon, what happens is you're going to be able to find a property where you can execute these value add opportunities, and it's in an area that has a population that's growing and the jobs in this area are growing, right? Now this, when you have the combination of both of these things, this is when you can make some crazy returns, and this is exactly what we do at Blue Moon Capital Investments. Second thing, tax deductions. Who likes paying their taxes? Okay, some of you guys don't pay taxes, but if you guys pay less taxes, right? If you have to pay less taxes, you're gonna be super interested in this lot, right? So there's 3 main benefits, okay? Depreciation. I'm gonna make this super easy for everybody to understand, all right? Depreciation expense is essentially taking the useful life of the building, right? Or let's take the roof, for example, right? You know eventually you're gonna have to replace this roof, right? And you know there's a cost to that. So you take the cost of this current roof, divided by the life, the useful life, and oftentimes it's like 27.5 years, and then you take the number that you get, and that's your depreciation expense. So you're taking this number, you're subtracting it from the income that this asset is generating, and now you have a smaller taxable income. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. Cost segregation is just a sped up version of depreciation, right? Now you're saying, you know what? Not everything actually takes 27.5 years not everything has the same useful life time. So then let's say the stove, for example, or the refrigerator, right? They're not going to depreciate at the same rate as the roof or the foundation. So then you just reclassify these items based on their individual useful lifetimes, and now you can increase the amount of depreciation expense you have in the first few years because different items depreciate at different rates, right? So this again reduces the amount of tax you got to pay. And then you have the 1031 exchange. 1031 exchange is pretty simple, right? But you can only use this when you are selling your asset and you make your profit, right? So you know that if you invest with Blue Moon Capital Investments, the asset that you buy at this price, in 3 to 7 years when we're selling it, we're going to sell it at a higher price, right? And your percentage, the amount of profit you make, government's like, hey man, I need my cut. You made some money off of that, so I'm going to need my cut. So to avoid paying capital gains tax, you can defer it by investing into another deal of the same size, if not greater. And you're probably wondering, like how does that even work? You just made some money, how, but you don't have to pay taxes? No. You could just defer your taxes over and over and over again by investing the profit that you made from this deal into another one, into another one, into another one. You can do this forever. Excellent. Cash flow. Who likes making money? Anyone? No. Perfect. You guys don't like making money. I need where the hands, man. Y'all not here. Y'all ain't making money. Okay. So cash flow, right? Because like everybody needs to pay their rent, right? If you're living in a rental property and you have a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, rent needs to be paid. Mortgage needs to be paid, right? And so this is why we know that real estate is one of the best assets to buy because you can have this predictable income from the rental income, and that's that consistent cash flow. And then on top of that, hold on, I wanted to say something else. Actually, never mind. It's a little late. But predictable cash flow from the rental income. Next slide. Equity at sale. Okay, again, we bought this property at this original price, right? We made all these changes to it. And then at the end, we're selling it at a higher price. Now, these changes are easier to identify. Or not these changes are easier to identify, but these changes can happen quickly. And the equity that you have at the sale can increase dramatically. So let's say, for example, you have a 100-unit apartment complex, right? And we made all these different renovations to it. And now each unit, we just raised the rent by, let's say, $50, right? It's a 100-unit apartment complex. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Come on in. And then we just raised the rents across all these units by $50, right? And now you have a 100-unit complex, 100-unit complex that, let's say, the average, let's just make that easy. Everybody was paying $1,000. So what's the math? 100 times 1,000. 100,000? Okay, there we go. So now we're making $100,000 a month, right? And that's multiply that by 12, 1.2 million. Now let's say you just change a few things, you renovate the units, and now you can increase the rent for all the units by $50. So now we just went from $1,000 to $1,050. So what's the math on that? 1,050 times 100. 105. And then you multiply that by 12, and now you're at what's that? What's the 60? So that's
He's a numbers guy.
But it's easier to increase the value of this place by just making these small renovations to every unit. You're increasing the equity, and at sale, you have accumulated a lot more profit that you may have realized, and then you're getting paid again. So on top of the cash flow you're getting from rental income, majority of your profit actually comes from the equity at sale because of all this accumulated appreciation that occurs from all the different changes we're making to this apartment complex. Leverage. This is my favorite slide, right? Who has $1 million is chilling? Who can just go and just buy an apartment complex now, right? There's plenty of apartment complexes for people to buy, and they can do this value add strategy all by themselves. Who has just $1 million? Nobody, right? And this is why we love this business model, because it requires all of us to work together. So in this example, let's say we have a purchase price of $1 million for this apartment complex, and the down payment is 30%, right? So now we got to come up with $300,000. Again, who has $300,000 just chilling? Nobody. But if we have investors, right? Let's say we get 6 investors, and they each have 100K. Okay, this may be more manageable. Or let's say we get 6 investors who all put in 50K. All right, this is a little bit more manageable, and we have to work together to have the ability to buy this apartment complex. And the cool part is, you only put in 50 to 100K, but now you have an asset that's worth $1 million. You're just leveraging the amount of money that you have, working with a syndication like us, or whoever wants to. If you find other ones that are better than us, that's fine. You find other ones that are better than us. Pretty hard though. I don't know who can beat Blue Moon. But anyway, now, we're all working together, we put our money together, and we can purchase something that's way above each and every one of ours individual budget, and we can make a lot more money together. That's leverage. Okay, so now we're going to describe kind of like the homeowner versus renter demographic. Okay, so like what's happening, what are the national trends? Is it even smart to get into multifamily apartment complex right now? Is that even a smart way to go about like what you're investing into? So On the left side, we have the generation. On the right side, we have the home ownership rate, right? Home ownership rate is pretty much like the enemy of rental housing, right? Like we'd rather have you rent than buy a house. So if you can see what's the trend you're seeing across generations? It's going down. So that means there are less people that are buying houses. Good for us. More people are renting. Go to the next slide. I want to draw your attention to this middle bubble right here. The number of renters increased between 2006 and 2016 by 23 million, compared to the number of homeowners, which increased by less than 700,000 in the same period. So in the same 10-year period, we literally had 23 million renters, 700,000, less than 700,000 homeowners. Let me draw your attention to the bottom left right here. A whopping 64% of millennials who own homes regret their purchase of a home. Meanwhile, only 33% of baby boomers feel the same way. Now, this is interesting, right? When we were doing our research, like, okay, what's happening in the market that's causing people to not buy houses anymore? Why are more people renting? And why do more people regret, or why does a certain generation, right, the latest generation, the millennials in particular, why are they regretting purchasing a home? So there's two main reasons, right? There's economic factors. Number one, houses are more expensive. It's harder to buy a house. It's harder to qualify for a mortgage loan after the 2008 crisis. People were just defaulting on their loans like crazy, so now they have a little bit of trauma. I don't want to buy a home. I can't do that. And then on top of that, you have the cultural and the societal shift, right? People are graduating college with more student loans. So now it's taking them longer to get to a space of financial security to be even able to buy a house. On top of that, you have things like marriages and family formation that are happening later on in life. So now people are in their early 20s, getting to the later end of their 20s, still single. They're not getting married, they don't have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and they're just traveling, right? Maybe they're focusing more on their career, which is a big shift we're seeing, right? People are focusing more on their career, they want to travel, they want to have flexibility, mobility, they don't want to buy a house. And this is all wonderful news for us, because that means we have a growing demand for rental housing. Okay, now what's happening specifically in Grand Rapids? So like I said earlier, right, there's two main things you want to focus on when you're analyzing the market. Are more people coming here, and are more jobs in this area forming? Now this is a report from CoStar. This graph came from CoStar. You guys know what CoStar is? No? Okay. So CoStar is essentially, they are the industry leader in commercial real estate research, right? They also own apartments.com. You guys know what apartments.com is? They essentially list out all these different apartment complexes, right? And so they take all the data they have from the research that they're doing and all the data they're seeing on apartments.com, and they create different reports for essentially every market you can find. And this is the one for Grand Rapids. Now, I want to point you guys to the orange, that's Grand Rapids, the blue is the United States. Now, if you can see, the population in Grand Rapids is forecasted to outgrow the U.S. average by about 1% or 1.5%. Again, this is wonderful news for us, because that means there's more people coming to Grand Rapids. If more people are coming to Grand Rapids, there's going to be demand for rental housing, which is exactly what we want. Next slide. Now we're going to focus on the economy. What are the jobs in this area? So these are all the different job sectors, but if you look at total employment right here, look at the current growth, right? The U.S. average is 1.79% growth year over year. In Grand Rapids, it's 2.16. If you look at the 10-year historical, U.S. average is 1.33. Grand Rapids, 1.50. 5-year forecast, U.S. average, 0.37. Grand Rapids, 0.51. Right? And this is all going to show that there are more jobs in this area, and they're continuously growing, and we're outpacing the U.S. average by about 0.2 here, 0.2 there, about 0.4 currently. Right? And this is all important because we have to make sure that the market that you're investing in, population growth and job growth. I think I'm drilling that over and over, and you're seeing how Grand Rapids is performing that way. Next slide. This is my favorite right here, and I'll tell you why. So this is a picture from the Milken Institute Best Performing Cities report. Again, you guys know what the Milken Institute Best Performing Cities report is? No? Okay, I'll explain it. So in 2024, which is this year, and this just came out like 2 weeks ago, the Milken Institute Best Performing Cities report is essentially like an objective evaluation of all the different metropolitan areas across the country. right? And so they have, I whited it out, or I don't know if that's called, but I just zoomed in on Grand Rapids. But Grand Rapids is a tier